cheese, mouse, cheese, mouse, cheese, mouse, cheese, mouse, mouse, cheese, mouse cheese? Ah, mouse cheese. Wait a minute, what on earth even is this? Mouse cheese by Neos for the Commodore 64 or 128. Full colour graphics software. This feels like a trap. A mouse trap! Yeah, that's enough of that. Inside the box we have some styrofoam. I actually once tried painting some styrofoam with aerosol paint to make a castle, but it melted the styrofoam. Inside that is a mouse and a tape. Now I presume the cassette is portraying the role of cheese here. In fact, it is, and the package is called Cheese. It's a paint program. Naturally. I mean, what else would you call a paint program? The mouse itself resembles the Commodore 1350 mouse, or more closely, the 1351 model, which was primarily sold for the Commodore 128, but is also compatible with the 64. This one had some strange sticky substance on it. I think that's the lead melting onto the mouse, rather than any sort of cheese residue. It should be noted that although resembling an Amiga mouse, they are in fact not interchangeable due to different sensor types. Now interestingly, the 1350, although resembling a mouse, is really a joystick in mouse clothing. It might have the right ball, sensors and buttons, but the movement from that ball is being interpreted as digital joystick movement and fed to the joystick port. The 1351 has that functionality, but also the option to use proportional mode. This requires a specific mouse driver, but relays actual analog mouse movement. The current position is transferred every 512 microseconds to a pair of registers, which make use of the SID chip's analog to digital converter, allowing for detection of direction and speed. This Neos mouse is in fact almost identical to the 1351, although for some reason the drivers are not interchangeable. But this allows the mouse to be compatible with software written exclusively for joystick control, which is always nice. Now, most people will probably associate this software package with the Connoisseur Collection, released in 1990, the sort of bundle your parents might get you with its combined entertainment and educational value. To be honest, I'd probably have picked it myself, it looks bloody immense! But although part of this bundle, the Neos mouse was actually the first mouse for the Commodore 64 range, manufactured by Neon Electronics Company and available from 1985 onwards, with the supplied driver itself compatible with the popular GEOS desktop environment. Commodore 1350s didn't actually appear until 1986. There was also a version of this mouse for the MSX called the Neos MS-10, shipped by various manufacturers, and also bundled with its own variation of the Cheese software. But enough of that, let's see how this thing works in operation. Now, whilst that tape is loading, let me share some knowledge with you. The mouse currently attached to the Commodore 64 doesn't work. Of course, I didn't know this at the time because I hadn't tested it. I couldn't see anything wrong with it, but given it's 30 years old, I can probably let it slide. Also, Cheese takes a long time to load from tape. In fact, it consumes almost the entire side. But as you can see, all that waiting was pointless. At least we get a chance to look inside the mouse, however. It's hard to pinpoint a problem as there isn't much going on here, so I'll just presume it's dead and move on to another candidate. So, I found myself another mouse cheese. This one actually looks like it's never been used. It's even got the piece of foam inside to stop the ball from moving. And to make things better, it's the floppy disk version, which not only means faster loading, but also we can save our creations. Also, whilst we're here, let's have a look at the manual. The Neos mouse is an excellent input device. So we have to plug the mouse into port 2 after the software has loaded. That's interesting. Lots of information here, mainly about the Cheese Paint program. What's this? The Paint command didn't come off. Paint? Oh, it's print, obviously. Now, the reason we have to plug the mouse in after loading is because of this. The Neos mouse actually causes interference with the keyboard, leaving you unable to type. Well, with the built-in keyboard scanning routines at least. It's like when you have a joystick plugged in. Moving the stick in a direction will create a character on screen. The difference with a proportional mouse is that it's constantly sending data to the Commodore 64 on the select line, causing significant interference. You can circumvent this, but the original C64 specifications weren't designed for a mouse at all, and really when we use one we're actually exploiting the paddle controller functionality instead. Anyway, loading up the disk is like the tape, but with a disk. Once the program is loaded, we need to run it, but not with your typical run command. Oh no, here we need to type sys4096, which runs the machine code directly. They could have put a few lines of BASIC in there so that your normal run command would work as well, but for whatever reason, they didn't bother. Cheese. Here it is. It's a basic looking affair, but the mouse this time does indeed work, and it's actually rather smooth. Right, let's get stuck into this paint program. Now, despite appearances, it's actually quite a well-equipped piece of software. Opposing everything I believe in, actions are performed using the right mouse button rather than left. In fact, the left mouse button simply freezes movement, but it does have another purpose which we'll get to shortly. So we've got 16 colours to choose from and various tools to apply them with. Naturally, the spray can is my go-to choice. For some reason I always tend to gauge how good a paint program is by how realistic the spray can is. You can imagine how blown away I was when moving to PaintShop Pro on the PC with 16-bit colour. But here, limited to just 16 colours, we've got a standard speckled effect, which is pleasing enough. You can change the spray size and mix colours, and what else really matters? I won't bore you by going through each and every option, but the freedom on offer is really quite impressive. You can create shapes, fill those shapes using different patterns, change the background colour and fill type, draw lines. You can even move around entire blocks, which is something I didn't expect. Right, let's see if I can do something useful. Maybe recreate my logo. Yes. Yes, that's it. Oh, that's absolute perfection. You see how you can do anything if you put your mind to it. So what does this left mouse button do? Well, if you turn off your 64 and turn it back on with the mouse inserted this time, but holding down the left mouse button, then your mouse will start up in joystick mode. Yes, then you can use... well, actually you can't use cheese at all, because this is the proportional version of cheese. There is a joystick version as well, but what would the point be in shipping that with a mouse? It wouldn't make sense. But if you were to use this mouse in joystick mode with a joystick based program, then you'd get something like this. Now, anyone who had the T2 system bundle should recognise this as being the image system. It bundled on the accompanying cartridge along with Terminator 2 and the Modern Music Maker. And good God, I used to use this program quite a lot back in the 90s, but it's with the gift of hindsight that I realise how absolutely crap it is, especially with joystick control. Using mouse joystick emulation, it's actually a little better, but nowhere near as usable as an analog mouse. I mean, it is usable, but there's no inertia, no grace. It still very much feels like you're using a joystick in mouse form, which of course you are. If you pick up and try and track the mouse like you normally would, it doesn't do anything, it just stays in the same place, and you have to just slowly drag the mouse across the desk to get anywhere. So I also wanted to test the Neos mouse with another program that it is compatible with in proper proportional mode, and one such program is the game Arkanoid, because if there is any game suited for it, then it's got to be a Breakout clone. Look, there's even a dedicated option for the Neos mouse on the title screen, which is tremendous. Now actually, this is a really fluid experience. Playing Arkanoid with the joystick is a jerky and often frustrating experience, but here, well, it's marvellous. The sensitivity is lower than what you might be used to, and there's no option to change the DPI, but you quickly get used to it, allowing for unprecedented levels of control. I mean, I still lost, but I played it for longer than I would do without a mouse. So let's draw this little monologue to a close. This was Mouse Cheese, containing the rather nice Neos mouse and equally delightful Cheese program. I'm really quite impressed with the pair. Both packs I picked up for about £20 on eBay, and obviously the one which works is better value than the one that didn't. They don't pop up all the time, but if you happen to stumble across one, then it's probably worth getting it, because a Commodore 64 paired with a mouse is really quite a nice experience. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. There are some more things to click here. In any case, I hope you have a great evening.